Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna check here and see if people start coming in. I was making comments before and turned out I was in private mode. Yeah, this was rather interesting. Now, Field McConnell is still in the courtroom. The lawyer has left, Kim has left, everybody's left, but he's still in there. Now, I don't know if it aired over the Zoom hearing or not. If it did, a lot of what I'm going to do is not going to be necessary. Um, However, I believe I'm going to be having lunch with Kim in a little while. I'm going to call her in a couple hours. Well, they were trying, it was a logistics thing. They were trying to work out how they were going to handle Wisconsin's part of it, but all the terms have been agreed to. He will be under supervised probation for 24 months. He cannot have any contact with Kim at all. He cannot threaten her. He cannot call for her to be executed or any of that stuff. He cannot use third parties to harass her in any way, shape, or form. Uh, he is not allowed on the internet except for personal use. And he has to provide a list of some kind to the judge and the probationary department as to who he knows. The field report has to come down, but I think there's a problem with trying to figure out who owns it. Eager Beaver is said to have produced all that, but Field McConnell is not allowed back on the internet, and so his days basically are numbered. But she lit into him, talked about QAnon. She mentioned Chris Hallett being murdered because of QAnon and their activities, Field's activities in particular. She was quite angry and quite animated. And she told me she basically ad-libbed the whole thing. She didn't have a prepared statement. She just started off and just went on and on and on, saying how this affected her family, the harm that had been done, the fact that she had to have police escorts to and from the house. They had 24-hour police protection because she was a officer of the court. Anybody on the street had to be stopped and asked what they were doing there. So, yeah, if it was on Zoom, I'll be listening to it when I get back to Orlando. But that was really quite something. And Field was turning beet red. He was looking down. He would look up at the judge, and then he would look back down again. And he would not look at Kim. Kim looked right at him. The way it's set up, you have two podiums facing the judge. One podium is on the left side. Another podium is on the right side. Field McConnell and his attorney were on the right. Kim Picazio and the sheriff's deputy was on the left. And when Kim Picasio was making her statement, she was looking right at Phil McConnell. Well, I'm sure somebody else is going to record it, but I am going to try and get a transcript from the court because the clerk of the court takes this stuff down. And so I'm going to order the transcripts. That's one of the things I'm going to do right after I log off. Yeah, for some reason, they don't show the defendants. They mainly show the judge. Now, he does have a remote control camera on the budget on the bench, so he could turn it if he wanted to. So that basically is what happened there. Yeah, he has to submit an apology to Kim Picasio. Apparently, it was not to be read in the court, and he didn't say anything. It was the usual questions that they asked, and he pled nolo contendere or no contest to the charge, was adjudicated guilty on 2 misdemeanor charges, and it went from there. And so basically, this is over. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Bill's going to go back to Wisconsin, and that's the end of it. So the only thing right now is how long Phil McConnell's going to sit in the courtroom. I don't think he wants to come out and be on camera. So we're having, well, I told you Smirky Kirky was going to get it wrong. There was no plea by the prosecution. The prosecutor didn't even show up. It was just Kim, the sheriff's deputy, a clerk, Phil McConnell, and his attorney. No, he can't have contact with Holmseth at all. So, the association between Phil McConnell and Tim Holmseth is done. Now, if Tim and Randy screw up and go on the air and say that they are claiming that they've been in contact with Phil McConnell, that could violate his probation, and then Bill is going to have to answer why these people are speaking on his behalf. And so this is going to create all kinds of problems. So if Tim and Randy knew what was good for them, they would leave Bill alone, don't say to represent him in any way, shape, or form, and just go on with what they were doing. Yeah, they definitely do, Alex. But I'll tell you right now, you do not want to be on the receiving end of Kim Picasio's anger. She was gesturing and everything in that courtroom. She really lit into him. You had to have been here to see it. That's correct. Phil McConnell's internet career has come to a screeching halt. He can only use the internet for personal business, emails, anything like that. He cannot start another children's crusade, Able Danger, or any of that. He's done. So he's paid a very, very heavy price for his shenanigans and for listening to Tim Holmseth. And so the Phil McConnell portion of this is done. Now, what's going to happen to the rest of these people is anybody's guess. Whether or not she decides to pursue an action against them has not been made clear, and it's something that's waiting to be seen. Oh, this is interesting. These women are wearing military jackets. I guess that's a thing. Well, keep me informed. Maybe I'll wind up sitting at another courtroom door waiting for people to come in or out, or sitting at elevators and stuff. So that's going to be interesting. And So this is interesting. Bill McConnell has not come out of the courtroom unless he snuck out. I haven't seen him. So, well, that'll be interesting. I just hope it's closer to Florida. I'm not having to run all over the country covering these things. But we'll see how it goes. But what I am going to do is after I'll probably sign off here in a few minutes, I'm going to go to the clerk of the court and I'm going to fill out the form to get all the paperwork that I need on what is adjudicated here. It takes, and I will of course check online when I get up to the house. It takes a couple days for these people to get posted on the court docket, the court page, and again, and I don't know how detailed these are. So, Bill McConnell is still in the courtroom. He's sitting at the very last bench just before he go out the door. I think what's happening, he's either waiting for me to leave or he's waiting for his lawyer to take him over to the probation office, which is right across the street. But he definitely has early onset of osteoporosis or something wrong with his neck because he walks bent over. But you know, this is a lesson in what happens when you get around Tim Homestead. You know, Phil McConnell is basically going to be watched like a hawk for the next 2 years. I do not think he can have a passport. His possession of firearms was mentioned, so he may be losing the right to have firearms. He was not charged with a felony, so he got off on that. He was charged with the 2 misdemeanors, and if he had been sentenced to incarceration, he would have had to serve 1 year on each of them. Well, I'm glad to do it. This is basically what I do. I watch and report, and it's up to everybody else to decide what has happened from what I did. But thing of it is they're going to court can't go on for too much longer. They're going to have a court break here at noon or so, and at that time they're going to kick everybody out, and they're going to go to lunch. Well, thank you, Laurie, because what happened was that I was live tweeting to StreamYard, and all of a sudden the phone crashed and I couldn't get back on. I couldn't sign back on because if I did, the camera and microphone would come on and create all kinds of noise. So I decided to switch over to Twitter and finish up on Twitter. And I'm just glad it all worked out. I don't think so. I think him and his lawyer will probably prepare it together. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens there. You don't know if the letter of apology was done before the hearing or they're going to work on it now that the hearing is over, go over to the attorney's office and do it. But the next step for Phil McConnell is he has to go over to the probation office and sign some paperwork. And I think there was a guy here that was standing out in front of me that he is the one handling the drug test portion of it, because Bill McConnell has to take a drug test. And he's going to have to take periodic drug tests throughout his probation. But I don't think he has to wear the ankle monitor anymore. But, you know, all those people that paid all that money to his lawyer thinking he was going to get off are probably kicking themselves in the ass right now. It's Smart Witness 1. And any of my wrenches can go ahead and put the Twitter handle in here, but it's at Smart Witness 1. It's all one word. So somebody would go ahead and link my Twitter account in here. That way, any newcomers that want to go over there and read it can. Well, Laurie, he's not going to be able to contact Randy at all because it's a third party thing. He can't have any contact with third parties that had anything to do with the attacks on Kim Picazio. So he's basically lost all communication with those people. And anybody caught doing anything on his behalf will cause him to lose his probation, and he will go to jail for 1 year on each of the counts, and they will be served consecutively, which means he serves 1 year on one count and then a year on the other count. So he has a lot to lose if he violates parole. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's the link to my Twitter account. And so anybody that wants to go over there and read what I tweeted, and I am going to do a review tonight, and then once I get all the paperwork I need as far as transcripts and everything, we'll go over them as well. Go over them as well, so that anybody that tries to put spin on this will be disputed quickly. But the guys in green are walking around. Yeah. But whoever puts up the recording of it, send me it in my email or private message on Twitter so I can watch it. And it'll help me review for the for when I do my live stream tonight. And Alex, if there is any way for you to do a transcript of it, it would be a huge help. Because both me and Levi are going to be very interested in commenting on everything that happened today. Because I'm sure Levi's probably going to do something on this when he's able to. Sure. Okay. I'll wait just a little bit longer, see if Bill keeps popping on. He seems to be not wanting to come out. I don't know if she's still using it as a surname. The only time I saw it being used is that lawsuit that they threatened me with legal action, suing me for $1 million because of the things that I keep saying about them, even though they accuse me of being a serial child killer and pedophile and all this other nonsense. So, it would not be in their best interest to file any legal action against me, because I've got a lot of discovery that I would be requesting from them, plus the evidence that I have that I would present to court. Because every time they put up a video and put up anything calling me a serial rapist, it gets filed. Both hard copies and the multimedia files are made. And so that's the thing. When you sue somebody, you better make sure there's nothing in what you did that can come back to haunt you. And I don't think that Randy has learned that lesson yet. At one time he did. He was about 10 feet, about 6 to 8 feet from me. These courtrooms are generally small, and they had these long church pew type benches, which are hard as a rock. And I sat midway in the bench, and Field sat over. There was like a bench in front of me and then another bench in front of that bench, and he sat to my right. And if you drew a diagonal line between me and Phil McConnell, it would be about 8 feet, maybe 10. Now, this guy coming out has something to do with the Phil McConnell case. And so he was the one that was talking about drug tests and stuff like that. Well, thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate your help. I couldn't have done this without the help of you and other people. There's no one single person responsible for this. This is all done as a group effort to seek justice for Kim and any other victim of this bunch. And so I thank all of you for your assistance in helping me do this. Yeah, he took an aspirin. That's what he said. As they asked all the details of, any medical treatment and stuff like that. And he didn't mention his back at all. So I don't know if he's getting treatment or not. Now, somebody said something about he might have a tumor behind his ear. I have no idea. Field, I don't think he recognized me. Because I have not been on his radar. And so I don't think he had any idea who I was or why I was even here. Because when they went to try and open the door to the courtroom before the hearing and couldn't get in, I told them, I says the door is locked and for right now. And they looked at me and they said, the lawyer said something. Yeah, I guess that's the way it's going to be. And they went over and sat down right around the corner, So, but they sat next, around the corner from me for a good half hour, and they were just yammering away, basically small talk. And he was talking about a private airport, talking about driving down. He must have driven down from his son's house. So, but it's over and done with. Now, Tim Holmseth could have gotten this over and done with 2 years ago. And, serve 30 days, if that, go on probation and be right back at it again. And he chose to go on the run. And he's just made it worse for himself. And then, Field at some time has to decide where his loyalty lies when it comes to Tim, because Tim is the one that got him in this mess. He went through all this business for 4 months and lost everything. He's off the internet. It's all that money that was spent on this lawyer he could have used for his own purposes. All his projects he had have come to a grinding halt. You know, he's paid a huge price for his association with Tim and Randy and Kirk and Chris and all these other people. And now I am going to be curious as to the spin that Kirk Pendergrass and all these other people are going to put on what happened today, because we have all been proven to be 100% correct in how we said that this thing was going to come about. And so we are at the epilogue of this story. Tonight at 9, I'm going to do a summary. And from then on, we see what happens as we go down the road. We explore other situations on the internet. I'm going to get into extensive discussions of David Straight and the huge amount of information that keeps coming my way about his shenanigans. And, you know, what happens to him is anybody's guess. But I think it's going to start sinking in on some of these people about what an absolute waste of time all this was. That going after Kim Picazio was probably the worst mistake anyone could have made. She did not deserve to be harassed the way she was. None of us deserve to be harassed the way we are being harassed at this present time. And as someone who doesn't like me has always said, the truth shall set you free. And today, the truth set Kim Picazio free. And now we got to work on getting the truth out about all of these people. Well, the reason Timmy's running free is because he is only wanted in the states of Minnesota and Florida. As long as they stay out of the state of those two states, and you know, they're basically home free, because he's only charged with a misdemeanor in the state of Wisconsin. There is a warrant for his arrest in the state of Florida, but it's also a misdemeanor. And as long as he doesn't commit a misdemeanor offense anywhere, he will not wind up in jail. Now, if he drives drunk, gets involved in an accident that's his fault or some other thing, then he would be arrested for that. But he would not be extradited back to the state of Minnesota, because this extraditions for misdemeanors is something that normally doesn't happen, as far as I know. So, you know, now it's just a matter of seeing where everything's going to go. And that certainly happened to Phil McConnell. He got hit with the truth, and he got punished for his lies. And he got punished for making threats. You know, he got off light. I mean, the federal charges for doing what he did are much more severe than what the state of Florida hit him with. So he's damn lucky he only had to deal with the state of Florida. He could have wound up with 10 years in prison. You know, why the federal government didn't get involved in this, I don't know. But, you know, it took the state of Florida to straighten this mess out. Yeah, he will not have any firearms for at least 24 months. And then after the 24 months up, it'll be a question of if he gets them back. Now, Phil McConnell's troubles are not over. He's facing the possibility of being charged for threatening the life of an officer of the court and a bank official, and those are felonies. So he's not off the hook by any means. Guy's pacing around like an expectant father. Oh yeah, from what I've been told, there's going to be a lot more coming down the road in regards to all of this. So, I should take it one day at a time. And my email's out there, so anybody with information or something, feel free to contact me. And Kim did talk about all the secret codes that Field used to use. And she was very detailed about everything. And, the deputy was there in case there was a problem. So she had an armed escort throughout the hearing. And the deputy, I believe, was the one that started the investigation into Field's activities when this stuff all arose. And this is sage advice. Don't mess with a lawyer, especially a female one, because they will get you. Of course, you don't want to mess with Alex either, but that's a different story. Yeah, it was. That's straight out of Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Yeah, a lot of things were proven today, and a lot of people were proven wrong. And good old Smirky Kirky was one of them. He was basically squashed like a little bug today. Yeah, I know, Alex. We've had kind of a interesting evolution in our relationship over the years. And I don't think Tim likes that. That's how things go. The truth has a habit of clearing up a lot of matters. Yeah, he's definitely done that. Made his bed with sheets that have never been cleaned. Oh, here they come. And the Three Stooges are walking away. So Field McConnell has left the courtroom finally. And I guess that guy did have something to do with him. And now I don't know where they went, but they went around the corner. And what I'm going to do is, yep, there they come. That was weird. They walked around the building. So they're just kind of conversing right now. And they're on the elevator. One thing I noticed is he's got his little pilot wings on his chest. So I guess now Phil McConnell is off to probation. So no, he didn't. But his little ploy didn't work because all I did is turn the damn phone around, and when they came around the corner and had their little meeting, he had to look right at me. So yeah, he straightened up a little bit. I think he figured if he's going to be on camera, he's going to have to straighten up. But when he came in this morning, he was all bent over. So, but this is going to be a wrap for now, guys. I am going to go and talk to the clerk of the court, and send a message to Kim that anytime she wants, we could meet, because she wanted to talk to me a little bit before I went back to Orlando. I guess. So do that. And 9 p.m. tonight, I will be doing a murdathon from Apopka, Florida. So I would like to thank everybody for putting up with me today and this broadcast and all the technical glitches we had along the way. It really wasn't severe, but it was annoying. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and stay tuned as we deal with more of the wacky and wild world of the internet. And until we meet again, have a good one.